agreement?
It's a very good question.
Thank
It
you.
didn't take 6 years for us. It takes time. Look, first of all, it tells you something related to the last question. Okay? The gentleman from Austria. You didn't ask me how come we have an exchange of ambassadors with Turkey, right? You didn't ask me that question.
There are better relations between
Sorry?
Turkey and Israel than between Turkey. There are now better relations between Turkey and Israel than Turkey and Austria at the moment.
But you didn't, I don't know that. But you didn't ask me about that, which means that in the real world, what we expect is we maintain, in realpolitik, we maintain relations sometimes with countries with whom we have differences. That's clear. All right? So now, on the question of Turkey, obviously we've had differences with them on the Mavi Marmara and so on, and it took a long time to fix this. First of all, I'm glad we have, because I think that whatever our differences, we have a much better chance of working cooperatively, obviously, if we have restoration of ambassadors and the agreements that I think we fashioned, which is a good agreement, and I'm glad. I think also we have common interests. We have conflicting interests in some cases, but we have a lot of common interests. And so it just took a long time to do this. It took a long time. 6 years. Shorter than 60.
Mr. Prime Minister, you said that you wanted to talk to us about Israel's isolation. You
No,
told us
I wanted you to
about-
ask me about
So,
it.
Mr. Prime Minister, what about Israel's isolation?
What about it?
What's
Do
going
we
on?
have a map?
Africa. What's going
Do
on?
we have a map of the world? Do we have any?
Behind you.
No. I mean, a presentation. No graphs here. Nothing. Nothing. All right. So here's my schedule as I'm the Prime Minister, but I'm also the Foreign Minister. So how many meetings do you think I have a year, projected this year at the rate we're going, with presidents, prime ministers, foreign ministers, prominent senators, and so on? How many do you think? Want to guess?
200.
2,000? 200. Close, but no cigar. It's 250. Okay, now how many days are there? How many work days are there?
65.
For anybody. So that comes about a little more than one a day. What do we have next Thursday? We have the Cypriots and the Greeks summit, Cyprus and Greece. And Honduras. Yeah. You want to relate back to this is the rate. We get about one a day. And there's a reason why that's happening. Well, first of all, understand what is happening. In the last month, we had here the NDRC. You know what the NDRC are? That's the top economic outfit for the Chinese government that looks at investments, looks at technology. They were here alongside an effort that we're doing to have a free trade agreement with China. We've always wanted it for decades, but they came to us this last year and said, let's do it. Japan came to us and said, you've talked to us for years about a protection of investments agreement because the Japanese businessmen are very cautious. Let's do it. Our trade with India right now, another small country, is growing at 30% a year. We've just been to Russia, where we've celebrated the 25th anniversary of the restoration of relations, and Mr. Medvedev came here, and that relationship is very strong and robust. Vietnam, Korea, well, also some small powers that have become important global players like Singapore, first time in the history of Israel, even though we've had decades and decades of relations. Prime Minister Lee is coming here, I'm going there. From there I'm going to Australia. And of course I visited Africa. I told you about the Mediterranean. We just talked about Turkey. We talked about this summit. We're going to deal with gas issues between Greece and Cyprus. I went to Africa. I visited 7 African leaders came to greet me. I could only go to 4 countries because I had 4 days, but I'm going to West Africa for another 15. We had a UN summit, unbelievable about Israel's technology, and just unbelievable. The African leaders who came there, and they said, we want, we have problems, you create the solutions, please come. So there are 54 countries in Africa, we're in touch with most of them, and they all want restoration of relations. Mr. Macri got elected in Argentina. He called me up, he said, we're changing our policy, we want this connection with Israel. The same is happening, of course, with Colombia, with whom we've signed an agreement, trade agreement. Paraguay, first visit here, and it's happening throughout. Foreign Minister of Brazil was here for Shimon Peres' funeral, and then came to see me and said, we want to change the nature of our relations. And the same is happening in other places in Latin America. The great powers of Asia, the countries of Africa, the countries of Latin America, they're all coming to Israel. Why are they doing it? Why? Why is this happening? It's happening at an unbelievable pace. And I wish we had a little isolation because I could use the time. Okay, so why is this happening? This is a great story. By the way, write whatever you want. And ask me whatever you want. And write whatever you want. But you should look at this thing and ask yourself, why is this happening? Any suggestions?
Solar power.
Sorry?
Solar power.
Solar power? You think it's that big across the world? It's big in some places. What else?
Water.
It's true. It's one of the reasons. Why?
Technology. The Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Right. It's the Minister of Foreign Affairs, without a doubt. There's no question. Okay. That's a fact. The rooster crows, the sun rises. We know why this is happening. So it's coming. Sorry?
The good rain that people have here and the roots that stand the country.
Innovation, determination, vision.
No, you're getting closer. You're getting closer. It's happening because of TTP. Okay? TTP. So what's the first T?
Technology.
Technology? It's actually the second.
Anti-terror.
The first T.
Torah.
Terror. Anti-terror. Terror.
I like that. T. Okay, fine. First T is actually is terror, because the firmament of militant Islam, the terror that it breeds, sends sparks to every continent, from Australia to North America and everything in between. And countries want to defend themselves, and Israel has a vast capability, especially intelligence capability, but beyond that as well. And so to protect the lives of their citizens, countries want to cooperate with Israel. The second T is technology, because the world is changing in an incredible fashion, and Israel is at the nexus of the great change that is taking place, not only in solar technology, in any technology, any technology. You know that, for example, you've heard of the Internet of Things, right? Everything's going to be connected. Your toasters, your refrigerators, your cars, your airplanes, everything. Okay? But you have to protect it against sabotage, against invasion of privacy, against theft. So, as you have today about 1 trillion connections of the Internet of Things, you're soon going to have many, many trillions. And so somebody has to protect this. And it's a never-ending task. Israel is 1/10. Israel's population is 6 million people. It's 8 million people. It's roughly 1/10 of 1%. 1/10 of 1% of the world's population. And we are getting this year, 2016, we shall have more than 20% of the global private investment in cybersecurity. Did you hear what I just said? 20%, more actually, but I'll be conservative, 20%. 20%